Hey, welcome back to Quail Snail. So, today we've got a problem with our Alto. It's got a microwave. You can't really get a toasty bagel from a microwave. You can't get crispy dinosaur nuggets from a microwave. You can't really make toast in a microwave. It's just warm, floppy bread. So with the way Noah loves his bagels, and the rest of us love orange chicken, we definitely toast more than we microwave. So today, we're going to remove the microwave that came with our Alto and put in a small toaster oven that just fits in the same space. So first up, let's unplug the microwave under the sink, all the way back on the left side. You'll find the power cord travels up through a hole behind the sink. This hole is hidden behind a panel we'll need to remove to make the toaster install easier. To take the panel off, screws are hidden behind the 4 little fancy round metal pieces in the corners. You can use your fingers to unscrew the round metal covers to get to the hidden screws. Once they're all unscrewed, be sure to keep all the bits together since there are 3 pieces to each screw: the cover, the thing it screws in, and the screw. You'll need a number 2 square-headed Robertson driver since this thing was made in Canada. So after we get the panel off, you can see the whole path the power cord takes behind the sink, but before we can take the microwave out, there are 4 screws under the shelf that attach the microwave directly to the shelf. You can see here that I'm just removing the last one. They're beefy sheet metal screws that go right into the microwave itself. The same square bit worked here, but it seemed a little small. Once the 4 biggest screws are out, you'll be able to move the microwave around, but it won't actually come out yet. The cabinet frame gets in the way. So to make more space, find the 6 screws under the shelf, 3 on each wall that hold the shelf in place. Removing all 6 of these screws will let you lower the shelf just enough to get the microwave to slide out. But be careful because there's lighting under the shelf here and you don't want to disturb the wiring for that. Here we leave the last screw from each side to make sure there are no surprises. With someone else holding the shelf, you can remove the last 2 screws and then you should be able to easily slide out the microwave and power cord completely. Try to avoid holding the microwave where the screws went in since there are some sharp bits there. If all you wanted to do was to take out the microwave and install a door kit from Safari Condo, at this point your microwave is out and you're going to be on your own for the door kit since we've never seen one, but at least we know it exists. Next, because the toaster is shorter, we can replace the screws that hold the shelf up now. We wanted to make sure that it was shorter to allow the heat to escape. We also wanted to figure out where the screws could secure the toaster oven on the shelf, so we removed the cover from the toaster oven and found that 3 of the 4 screws that held the feet on could safely be reused with screws of any length. One of them was a little too close to a capacitor for comfort, so we decided that 3 screws were enough to hold the toaster in place. While we had the cover off, you can see we made a paper template of the screw holes on the bottom of the toaster oven by screwing a piece of butcher paper with the same screws and holes that held the feet in. We moved the template to the shelf and aligned it so the front of the toaster oven was centered and flush with the opening of the cabinet. We reassembled the toaster oven and put the feet back on, using all of the screws except for the 3 we would later replace with longer screws through the cabinet shelf. We traced circles around the holes the size of the feet to give us a target for the toaster oven. We put the toaster oven on top of the template with the feet in the circles just to sanity check our measurements. Since this looked good, we drilled small holes through each hole in the template with a right angle drill. We started with a small drill bit and kept going to the next larger size until the hole was big enough to screw the screws in that we wanted to use without any power tools. It was good to creep up on the size because in the back we were drilling through metal. Now the paper template can be removed and the area can be vacuumed out before we lock the toaster in place. First, we need to put screws into the 3 new holes we just made, but only far enough to just barely poke above the cabinet shelf. We're going to try to land the holes on the bottom of the toaster oven feet onto the points of the screws, and once everything lines up in a way that seems to lock in place, start hand tightening the screws to make sure they're landing in the original holes. Power tools might end up drilling holes into the toaster, so it's better to stick to hand tools here. Now that the 3 screws are in, the toaster is locked to the shelf and isn't going to wiggle itself out while bouncing down the road. But we're pretty sure the pieces of the toaster oven would slide out, so we're going to store those away under the sink before driving. Now the power cord can be routed down the hole behind the sink and towards the power outlet. It's not actually long enough on this model of toaster oven to reach, so I got a short 15 amp right angle power cord that I plugged into the outlet below the sink, and the toaster power cord could easily reach that small stubby cord. This actually leaves a little extra space to push things back in front of the outlet since it sits flush there. All we need to do now is put the panel back behind the sink, put all 4 screws back in place with the little bits that hold the covers, and then screw the covers back on. Before we close the Alto, we wanted to double check that there was plenty of space behind the toaster oven to allow for the top to be lowered safely. This is important to test no matter what you plan to put on this shelf. It looks like we have a couple of fingers of space here, so we're done with this install. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and we'll try to answer them. And if you've never had dinosaur nuggets from a toaster oven, you're missing out. We'll see you from Costa Noa KOA next time, and so will those nuggets.